Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Dallas. Hey, Fort Worth. Hey, Texas. And welcome to Real Talk Real Estate. Casual and candid conversations all about real estate with me, Kaisha Nesbitt McDonald, a Texas realtor. And thank you for watching today. This is episode 3. Yay! And this episode is about leasing. And I love to talk about leasing. Why? Well, because I'm a property manager and it's what I do. I lease properties, I manage properties, and I also sell properties, but leasing is the majority of what I do on a daily basis. And it's just so many pieces involved in the lease process, and I really think that it's important that you understand how that process works so you can be better prepared when it's time to lease a property, whether you are currently in a lease or you're thinking about moving and getting into a new lease. If you've never leased a property, then you absolutely need to watch this video so you will know what to do. If you have leased a property before, you may find out some things that you didn't know. So I'm excited to talk about this with you today. So, where I want to jump in the leasing process is you found a property and you want to view that property. And now, what do I do? Now, how do I go about looking at this property and putting in an application? Well, the first thing that you should have done is hire a real estate agent. And if you haven't hired a real estate agent, what are you waiting for? I don't understand. I mean, real estate agents are no cost to you. Real estate agents are here to help you. It is a win-win. So again, you do not have to pay for a real estate agent. A lot of people come to me and they say, "Well, how much do you charge? What's the cost?" And it's no cost to you. My commission is paid from the person that is leasing the property. So you don't have to pay anything and you get all the benefit. And of course, they get the benefit because I'm bringing them a person that wants to lease their property, a qualified person to lease their property. But you win because now I've helped you find the perfect place to call home. So again, it's a win-win. So if you haven't contacted a real estate agent and you are currently out there looking for a rental property, give me a call. My information is listed in the comments below, or call somebody. You can literally Google real estate agents and find somebody to help you. And if you give somebody a call and you're just not vibing with that person, it's not a big deal to find another person. You are not bound to one real estate agent. If you don't want to work with the person for whatever reason, just find another one. But you absolutely need to work with somebody, even when you are renting. So, you and your real estate agent have been looking for properties. You find a property that you like. They take you on a tour. You think to yourself, this is perfect, the perfect area, the perfect price, the perfect layout. I love it. I want to apply. How do I apply? Well, first of all, different companies, different landlords have different methods of to apply to their properties. Some, you go directly to their website, you find the property, you will click apply or something that shows you, this is the application. You go on the application and you put all your information there. Easy peasy. Then there are other properties that they want a hard copy application. So they'll literally print out an application that you fill out by hand and then you submit it back to the company. So you'll either have one of those two types. Either it's going to be on their website and electronic, or it's going to be a hard copy application that you fill out by hand. Either way, you're going to complete the application and start preparing the information that you need to submit with the application. So in order to submit a complete application, you're going to need the application, of course, driver's license or ID from the state that you're applying. So if you're in Texas, you need your Texas driver's license or Texas ID. You're going to need proof of income. Proof of income is usually 30 to 90 days of pay statements, and they will actually have that. If they put that on, they have a website, it should be located on their website what they need. Some companies only need 30, and then some companies need as many as 90 days worth. So it just depends. But you're going to want to print those out. Companies cannot go to your website of your company or your payroll link to download and pull up those check stubs. They're actually going to need you to print those out and scan them if it's electronic, or print them and attach them to the hard copy. So if it's electronic, most of the time there are links that you can just upload the pay statements. If you do not have any links on the application, then they should have provided you with an email address where you can forward those to the email address that they gave. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people think that you can take a picture of the pay stub and that's fine. Some cases, landlords will go along with just a picture, but it is best to scan the pay statements into the computer and send it as a PDF. They're much clearer. You can read all the information. They're easier to upload into the file once you've been approved. And landlords and property management companies, they really prefer it that way. It really saves a lot of time, because most of the time if we can't read it, we're going to request another copy. And so you might as well just do it right the first time if you have access to a scanner. But if you don't, that's another reason why you should have a real estate agent, because your real estate agent does have access to a scanner, and they can absolutely get those scanned and uploaded and sent over to the landlord for review. So another good reason to have a real estate agent. So you're going to need your ID or driver's license, pay statements. Also, a good thing to have is a ledger from your current landlord. A ledger shows all of the payments that you have made during the lease. So a lot of companies, property management companies and apartments, can print out a copy of your ledger for you. If they can, that is a great thing to add to your application. It saves a lot of time. If you cannot find a ledger, if they can't give you a copy of the ledger, then make sure that you have the complete name, phone number, and email address of your property management company, apartment complex, or landlord to be able to give to the new landlord for rental verification. So those are the main things that you are going to need when you start the application. So I'm going to go back to income. Most property management companies of single family homes ask for you to make 3 times the income, meaning that if the rent is $1,500 a month, you need to make 3 times that amount gross income, and that's before deductions and taxes, in order for you to qualify for the property. Now, here's a little bit of secret information. Most of the time, property management companies have a cushion. That cushion ranges from about $200 to, I've seen as much as $500, where if you do not make 3 times the income, you're not automatically disqualified as long as your income falls within that cushion. So even though you're not exactly to the dollar of 3 times the amount, as long as you're in a safe range, I would advise you to go ahead, if you really want the property, to go ahead and submit an application, because they may actually consider you. Apartments, sometimes you do find that they'll take 2 times the income. So that's great. So if you know that you're not really at 3 times the income, but you want a property that you need a 3-bedroom and they're going to be about $1,600 a month, definitely apartments are the way to go, because the income requirements can be a lot less. So just a little tip. So with income, you most of the time people fall into two categories. Either they're a W-2 employee, meaning that they are a standard employee who gets a paycheck every 1, 2, 3 weeks every month, however you're paid, and at the end of the year you're given a W-2 to file your taxes. You are a W-2 employee. If you are self-employed, then you do not receive a W-2 at the end of the year. You file your taxes yourself. You either get a 1099 from a company that you work with, or you file a Schedule C income tax return, and you claim how much money you made and how many deductions, and that's how you file your taxes. So if you're self-employed, you file your taxes yourself, self-employment income. When that pertaining to leasing a property, you are going to need, if you are self-employed, to provide those tax returns. If you are a W-2 employee, you don't need to provide the W-2. You'll only need to provide pay statements, your check stubs that you get whenever you're paid. So that is the difference in what information you need to submit with your application. If you're self-employed, you're going to need your tax returns, and you're going to need tax returns for the past 2 years. That is pretty much a standard across the board. Now you're going to find some differences. You, of course, everyone is not the same, but most of the time they're requesting 2 years worth of tax returns, and as well as 6 months worth of bank statements. What they're looking for is consistency in your business. So they don't want to lease to you, unfortunately, if you've just started your business, you haven't had any verifiable income, you haven't filed taxes. There's no way to verify what you're going to make over a long period of time. So you are a risk, and unfortunately, they may not want to lease to you. However, if you've been in business 3-4 years, you file taxes, every year, your funds go through your business bank account, you should be fine. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to rent a property as long as that income tallies 3 times the rent. And a lot of the times when you're self-employed, they look on an annual basis. So they take 3 times the rent on annually to see if you make that on your taxes. So, and most of the time they are looking at the AGI, the adjusted gross income. Yeah, AGI, the adjusted gross income is what they're looking to make that determination. And so here's the thing: if your AGI, because of your deductions, is a lot less than what you actually bring, and I would bring more tax returns. I would bring more bank statements than 6 months, because just to show this is the income that I bring in, even though these are my deductions, this is the income that I bring in, just to kind of make your case more solid. Because right now, especially, I can't stress it enough, it's a competition. It is a seller's landlord market, and again, that means the inventory is low, demand is high, and sellers and landlords definitely have the flexibility right now to really be picky on the offers they accept and the applications that they accept. They're getting, a lot of the times, 5 or more applications on every property, and so they do have the ability to kind of pick and choose what applicants they put in their properties. So I think giving more information as far as income is a good idea, just to show the consistency. Now, if you're a W-2 employee, you have just a regular job, then what they're looking at is your gross income, that's before deductions and taxes, and they are looking at straight pay. Now, again, I'm always going to say that there are some people that are not looking for that. There are some people that they have different qualifications that they're looking at. But I'm just generally speaking, landlords are looking at straight pay. They are not necessarily worried about the overtime, or not even, I shouldn't say worried about, they're not, they won't consider overtime, tips, and commissions. The reason for this is those things may vary. Just because you usually get 10 hours of overtime every week, that doesn't mean that it'll always be that way. Just because you made, $600 in tips this week, that doesn't mean that next week it'll be consistent. So they don't like to use that income because it's not consistent. It can be consistent, but it also can change. And that's another thing for applicants who work in the food industry. You're a server, or you work in a tip-based industry. Most of your money is made from tips, or most of your money is made from commission. Sometimes they'll actually consider you self-employed if you have a job that's all commission based or all tip based. And so it is a good idea to provide bank statements as well, to show this is consistently what I have made for the past 6 months to a year. It is not a bad idea to get those things. Some landlords won't lease to you if you have a tip or commission based employment. So it's just up to the landlord. But again, with income, please, I always stress, provide as much information. Do not hold back when it comes to income. They want to know, that's the most important thing. They want to know, can you afford the property? They want to know that if I rent to you 4 months, I'm not having to evict you because you can't pay the rent. And yes, things happen. Yes, people lose their jobs. Yes, this pandemic has been just, oh my God, just terrible to households, because they've gotten sick, they can't work, different things have happened, and a lot of people have lost their jobs. There have been a lot of protection put into place for people so they won't get evicted, but unfortunately a lot of those protection measures have been lifted. So there are not a lot of eviction restrictions right now, and landlords can evict you. And they don't go into a lease wanting to evict you. They want you to be a long-term tenant. However, they have to make sure that you look good coming in the door. And so if you just started a job, you haven't worked there long, just, if you are kind of making an income sometimes and other times you're not, like, those are red flags that you may not be a strong tenant. And before I worked in property management, I didn't understand, but landlords, this is their income, and a lot of them have mortgages on these rental properties, and if you don't pay the rent, they still have to pay the mortgage. And so they're coming out of their pocket to pay the mortgage, when most of the time they're paying another mortgage for their home that they live in. So, and if they have a few rental properties and this is a bad time, and 2 of their tenants out of 5 are not paying the rent, and they're now paying their mortgage at their homestead property, as well as 2 of their investment properties, they're paying the mortgage, that can put them in financial distress. So that's why they want to know so much of your business when it comes to your income when you're leasing a property. And a lot of people say, oh, I can pay for it, I can afford it, even if I don't pay 3 times the rent, I'm gonna take care of it. But they have to have guidelines in place to really protect themselves. So income, I can't stress it enough. Provide as much information as you have, and keep in mind they are looking for straight pay. Tips, commission, and overtime may not be considered. Also, your rental history with those ledgers. Be prepared to provide as much information as you can about your landlord. they need to verify rental history. And if you don't provide enough information, if they cannot verify your rental history, that may be the reason why you not get the property, because you are not a strong candidate because you don't have any rental history or they can't verify it. And if they can't verify it, that's a red flag that maybe you don't have any, or maybe you have not so good rental history. So please provide as much information as you can about rental history as well. Now, background checks and credit checks, you don't have to do anything special usually. They on the application, you're going to put your social security number, and so they're just going to use your information, your social, your date of birth, your name, address, to pull your background checks and your credit checks. So they're not asking for anything when it comes to that. They'll do that on their own. But mainly rental information, income, and your identification are the things that you need to have and ready to submit with your application. You'll be so surprised how many people complete an application and don't upload their driver's license, or they only upload one check stub. And if I have 3 applications in the office and 2 of them are complete and one of them is not complete, I'm going to go ahead and process the 2 applications that are complete, and I'll reach out to the applicant and let them know your application is not complete, we're missing information, but I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the ones that I have everything for. They may get approved before the incomplete application, so it's very important right now, especially, to make sure that when you submit that application, you have everything that you need and they're asking for attached to it. Because if you don't, it is considered an incomplete application, and they are not going to process it until it is considered complete. So keep that in mind. I know when you find a property, you're really eager to put in an application and you think, I'm just going to get this in and then I'll send all the other stuff later. That is not a good way to think, because again, if somebody else has placed a complete application, that person is going to get reviewed first. And right now, people, again, 5 to 10 applications sometimes in a few days on properties. So you want to make sure that you're making a good first impression. If you have a real estate agent, after you put in your application, that's a good time for your realtor to go ahead and follow up with the landlord or the property management company or the apartment complex and just introduce them, and just let them know, this is my client, and let us know if you need anything else. Realtors, property managers, landlords, we like working with real estate agents because we know that they're professionals and they're going to get us what we need. They have an interest because they're working to get a commission, and so they're going to make sure that everything is done correctly. So it's a really good reason, again, to have a real estate agent. When you do your application, make sure you put your realtor's name on the application. Most all applications have some place to put the realtor's first and last name, that you are working with the realtor, because that's how they're going to get paid. With an apartment complex, you have to do this. Some single family applications, you can go back and do it. You can let them know after the fact. But apartments are really, really strict. They want you, when on their application, it'll have a space referred by. You must put your real estate agent's name in that space for the agent to get paid. So make sure you remember to do that. Also, with apartment complexes only, a lot of them require for the agent to bring you into the office to view the property. With single family homes, it is recommended that your agent bring you to view the property, but we also have agents on staff with property management companies, and landlords will also show you the property. So, there are other people that can show the property. With apartments, they really want your agent to be more involved to give them a commission. And your agent knows this. So, especially if you have a seasoned agent, they know, what they need to do and what you need to do and what you need to fill out. So they're going to guide you through that. So it is so important to have a real estate agent. They know what you need. If you When you get emails from the company asking for additional information or telling you, asking you questions, they can help you answer those questions. They can speak on your behalf because they're your hired real estate agent. It's just really, really good to have. I'm currently working with a client that's relocating from Ohio to Texas, and she had a really unique situation going on. She was having some issues finding somewhere that would consider her. She decided to reach out to me, hiring me as her agent, and I got her approved with the first property that I sent her that she liked. I got her approved. I knew what to say. I knew what the property management company was asking for. And we got her in, and she, the process took a few days. And even when it comes to negotiating repairs, things that you walk the property, and for instance, in her home, the hall closet was purple, and she's like, oh my god, no, I don't want this. And so I let them know my client wants you to paint, paint the hall closet. She wants you to paint the bathroom. She wants you to do these things. And they're like, okay, yeah, great. We can do that before she moves in. Not a problem. Sometimes property management companies and landlords, if you don't say anything about it, they won't do it. They won't say anything. And it's too late once you move in because you've accepted the property as is. But before you sign the lease, you need to negotiate the things that you want them to repair. Or if you went in and the carpet was, it needed to be cleaned, or it needed new flooring, before you sign the lease, you need to let them know that. An agent is going to guide you, and they're going to let you know that. Sometimes if you're so eager, you get to signing and filling out and giving them the deposit, and then you're like, oh, are you guys going to give me new carpet? And they're like, no, that we weren't planning on replacing the carpet. But you've already signed the lease, so there's nothing that you can do about it. And once you sign the lease, you are bound to that contract. Meaning, if you say, you know what, I don't want this property, if you've given a deposit already, then they're going to keep your deposit. And by law, they can charge you every month of the lease, the rent of every month that the property is not leased. So they can make you pay that. So even if you never move into the property, but you signed the lease and you backed out because it was some repairs that you wanted them to do and they didn't do, but you've already signed, then they can hold you responsible for all of the months until they release it. So if it takes them 5 months to release a property, you could be on the hook for 5 months of rent that you did not ever place, that you didn't stay. And even if you don't pay, they can put it on your credit. So it's very important to have a professional walk, because these are contracts. Even with the lease, it is a binding legal contract, and you can be taken to court and sued for breach of contract. So you want to make sure that if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, you have those, somebody is there representing you, and they will answer your questions. And your agent, they are representing you. They have your best interest in mind. And so again, I cannot stress it enough. Even when leasing a property, hire a real estate agent, please. So those are the main things as far as a lease goes that need to go along with the application. Of course, every company may have different items that they need from you. If it's, and they'll let you know specifically, anything else that they need in addition to those items. And if you are currently looking for a lease, I recommend going ahead and getting you a folder. And placing everything in that folder that you're going to need. So go ahead and print out 60 days worth of your pay statements. Go ahead and print out 6 months of bank statements. Go ahead and print out your tax returns for the last 2 years. Go ahead and copy front and back your driver's license. They may need a copy of your social security card. Sometimes when they put in the social security number, it'll kick back as they can't recognize it, they can't find it. So they may say, well, we need an actual hard copy of your social security card. Go ahead and print that out, so you'll have that ready to go. And keep that information handy, so you're not, every time you find something or every new application you put in, you're searching to put together, I got to get my check stubs, I got to get this. You already have it and ready to go. And unfortunately, you may be applying for more than one property in this market. That's a fact. That I'll say, at least plan to apply for at least 2 to 3 properties. And the good thing about applying for a property, most of the time, if you apply for a unit and you are not approved and they have not ran your application, they will refund you your application fee. So if you applied, someone else got it before you did, most of the time they'll give you your application fee back. However, if you applied and you were denied because your credit, background, income, rental history, they will not give you your application back. So that's also, good if you're applying for multiple properties. Just know, and I would have my realtor, or if you're not working with a realtor, I don't know why, but if you're not, that's a good question to ask. Do you refund application fees if another applicant is chosen before me? If they say no, I probably wouldn't apply to that place, because that's a red flag on their end, because they should. If they don't run your application and someone else got it before you, they absolutely should give you your money back. Application fees can range between $50 and $75. I've seen a few $100, but not typically. Most of the time with the high application fees, there'll be apartments, and it'll be an application and an administrative fee combined into one. But most of the time, application fees are about $50, $60, and they do require that everyone in the home that's 18 and older apply. So if it's you and your girlfriend, you or your boyfriend, you and your mom, your dad, your sister, whomever, your wife, your husband, and that other person is 18 years or older, even if they do not contribute to the household financially, they still need to put in an application. And that is for their background and their credit, because those things will be evaluated. Now, if they are not providing financially, they may look over credit in some instances. If that person is just, they live with me, I take care of them, they'll consider, if your credit is strong enough, they'll consider your credit if they're not using their finances. But if both of you are applying and both of you are submitting financial records to be able to qualify, then yes, both of your credits are going to be evaluated. You're going to have to do an application, for both of you. For children that are 17 and under, you don't have to do an application for them. You'll just need to know, you would just need to put their name and date of birth on the application. They will be put on your lease as an occupant, and they are not financially responsible for the lease. So there is a difference. So I'm running out of time. I'm at a little over 30 minutes. I didn't think this video was going to run as long as it did, and there's still some things that I want to kind of bring up and revisit. So I'm definitely going to do a part 2 to this video as well. Stay tuned for that. Again, I cannot stress enough, even if you are leasing, hire a real estate agent. If you need a real estate agent, you can go to Google and you can find real estate agents in every area of Dallas, Fort Worth, or any other city in the United States. There are tons of real estate agents. If you want to use Sparkle & Company Realty, we'd love to have you. You can go to my website at sparklecorealty.com. My real estate number, my phone number is 214-315-0233. You can email me at sparklecorealty@gmail.com. All this information I'm going to put in the bottom of this video, and give me a call. I love to work with you. I can help you find a rental property anywhere in the DFW Metroplex, and Yeah, so just give me a call if you are actively looking for a rental. Again, thank you so much for watching episode 3, and I will be back with more videos. If you have any suggestions on topics that you would like me to talk about, please let me know. Message me, leave it in the comments, and I will do my best to try to get the video made for you. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, share it on your social media pages. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And until next time, have a great day.